This is Eddie Real, and I'm here to answer some of the most commonly asked questions that I get from most of my listeners on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And my wife thought it'd be a good idea to respond to those in person. That maybe you guys would like to know certain things that should be answered. So, fire away.
All right, the first question is, what inspires you to write your songs?
Life in general, and everything I see, hear, feel.
Oh, so they're all personal, they're not third party?
Yeah, well, I have some third-party songs. I write about, once again, it all goes back to life, things I see, feel, and hear, which I think everybody writes from, and I just seem to really draw on that and get really deep with it. I've never tried to write a song from the standpoint of what I thought somebody else would want to hear. It's more what I felt I have to get out.
Who are your influences to doing this solo acoustic? Because, I mean, before that, weren't you a drummer for like 25, 30 years?
I was, and my influences, there's just so many of them, but I think the reason why I chose to do this is some of my biggest influences, recent influences. I never really knew that they were doing acoustic stuff, and like for instance, Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour, Aaron Lewis, yeah, just tons and tons of guys out there. When I started really seeing this whole acoustic thing, like when you see, you know, the lead singer from like Three Doors Down or something, or see anyone like that out with a guitar performing these songs that you hear on the radio. You know, they're like big hit songs that, you know, you get stuck in your head. You know, you can't really even fathom, wow, how can that be pulled off on stage with a guitar? Would that even be socially acceptable? I mean, I guess I was living in the dark, you know. I mean, to me, you know, folk was always cool. I was always into that kind of on the side, and I listened to a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily play. I've got a vast array of music that I listen to, and styles, and just the fact that you know, it was getting so big, and when I actually saw that, I said, wow, man, you know, shoot, you know, I've been kind of messing around with lyrics and poetry, and, you know, I've always had a guitar, even though I couldn't play, even when I was a drummer. I used to fool around with it. In fact, I still don't think I'm a very good guitar player. I don't claim to be a good guitar player. I don't think that I ever will be, because that's really not my focus. I'm not out there to learn how to be a great guitar player and play perfect pentatonic scales and arpeggios and you know, major chords. I mean, I basically just play by feel, and I try to get a melody down, a good rhythm. I've got that for being a drummer, and then I just try to throw my words in there and get it to where to me, I can feel it, and it sounds good. And it was never really, I never really expected it to go anywhere. It was supposed to just be something to kind of keep me occupied, take my mind off always, you know, being in and out of bands, because it's so hard to keep that together. You know, it's like a big letdown every time a band would fall apart. So I just started doing this, and it seems to have taken off pretty well, and I got to thank all you guys out there for that. And
How long have you been playing acoustic guitaring and singing songs or writing your own songs?
it's coming up on about 2 years now. So I really kind of grabbed the bull by the horn. I just wanted to do it. You know, I went and I saw I went to one of those It Takes a Community shows. The first one, as a matter of fact, in 2010 in Northampton, Massachusetts, at Look Park Pines Theater. And it was weird because I was still in a band at the time that was falling apart. You know, everybody was, you know, at each other's throats, and it was almost like it felt like I was losing a lover. You know, you're in a band for a few years, it gets real personal. And I just went down there in my spare time to check that out because I'd always liked Stained, and just thought it'd be a real trip to see Aaron up there with the guitar singing solo. And I don't know, something about that just really hit me, and I was like, you know, it wasn't like, well, if he can do it, I can do it, or, oh, I want to do that. It was just like, wow, man, you know, it just hit me, you know, and a lot of people might not like that particular genre of music, or him per se, you know, or whatever. But I gotta say, it might sound a little cheesy, but that was probably my biggest influence right there, because I felt something and I saw something there with all the other performers, and I was like, gee, you know, maybe I could just do that in my spare time, even if I just, you know, got better at what I'm already doing. And, you know, I could take it out, and if anybody likes it, great. If not, whatever, you know, I just really wanted to play. I wanted to be heard, and I figured, well, you know, if I can pull it together, there's got to be somebody out there that'll listen.
Next question is, do you have any new songs on the roster?
Yeah, I've got about, I've got a whole bunch of songs, which is, I've actually amazed myself at how well I can pull songs together. And, you know, I mean,
Well, how long on average does it take you to put the song together?
it varies. I usually start with a musical part first. I don't have scores of lyrics written down. I don't write poetry and then try to turn it into a song. It's more, if I have an idea, like something in my head, that I say, oh wow, those would be cool words, but I never try to put those thoughts or those phrases into any kind of musical pattern. I just kind of put them on the back burner. I'll jot that stuff down, and they're by no means a poem or a full song. I have bits and pieces of things that I can draw on later when I get the musical parts together. And 9 out of 10 times I'll be out walking in the park or in the woods, and something will pop into my head, a thought, and something that I'll say, oh wow, that'd be really a cool, you know, chorus line or whatever. And then later on, you know, when I'm coming up with musical parts, sometime those particular words never really even become part of that song, or if they do, it's way down the line. It's to a whole different musical melody than I ever thought it would be. So, but then there's other days where, you know, I'll be working on some kind of chord progression, and wham, you know, it's just like I've got a bunch of words in my head, or thoughts, and those just, or memories for that, you know, and that's just kind of, it almost sounds kind of cliche to say, well, I just throw them together, but I really do.
The next question is, what would you like to do with your music in the future?
Play more of it.
And whereabouts do you play music now?
I play anywhere I can. And anywhere I'd like to play is, I do a lot of open mics. As a matter of fact, I'll do as many open mics as I can if I actually like the place that the open mic is happening in, because some of my stuff is a little more on the light side, and I like to call it passionate. But and if it's just going to get washed out somewhere, you know, then there's no sense in going there. But I play at Luthier's Co-op in East Hampton, Massachusetts, which is it's a really cool place. They have an open mic there every Wednesday night, and it's a really cool scene because it is a co-owned guitar and string instrument repair shop as well as a sales room. there's nothing new in there unless it's brought in used. It's just full of vintage guitars, acoustic, electric. They have amplifiers, violins, but they also got a bar, and they serve all local beer and wine from all local distilleries, and they have an open mic as well as performances there too. And I guess now they're going to be opening a video bar. They're going to be having, you know, they're going to show stuff, you know, YouTube shows, musical stuff. And that's a really cool place to play because, I mean, it's, I mean, where else you know, it's like a club slash bar slash guitar shop, I mean. And I play there as much as I can. The Black Moon in Belchertown, Mass. Had a brain fart there for a minute. And, you know, I've done a gig under local artist Michael Orlin with a couple other artists that were there.
Where was that done at?
That was done at the Manhan Cafe in East Hampton. It was a real small gig. But, you know, it doesn't matter to me if I'm playing for a room of 50, 60, 70 people or 15. You know, if there's somebody there to hear it, and I personally like the smaller crowds better. To me, it's more like playing right here in my house. But
Are you more nervous around larger crowds?
no, nervousness is a really weird thing. I've often said when I first started playing out, I was so nervous you could scramble eggs on my knees, and I once said to some longtime performers, yeah, it'll be great when the nervousness goes away and I get my sea legs under me. And I think I've done that, but I mean, it varies. I can go and play in front of like a whole bunch of people and be not nervous at all, feel like I'm at home. And then another night I could be, you know, in the same place and be like just totally freaked out. It's a real mood thing. But a lot of times with a lot of my music, I throw it together really fast. And it's not really second nature when I go to play it out. I mean, it's okay when you're here and you're home and you're working it out. But I mean, I've actually literally written a song, and then in the same afternoon, like I've pulled the song together in a day. Yeah, like I've been working on it for a couple of days, and then in the same afternoon decided, well, yeah, I'm going to go down to that open mic and I'm going to try it. I'm probably going to botch it all up, and I do sometimes. But you know what? I just power through it, keep on going, and surprisingly, even the really bad performances I've done where I've forgotten my words or whatever, I had to ad-lib or screwed up, I've gotten a pretty good response from those, and that's always a good thing to let you know whether you should continue on with it, although I'd continue on with it anyways. But it's pretty good to know that you can go out and play a song in its worst form, you know, and perform it probably the worst you possibly ever could perform it, and people still dig it. That's I had an instance where I tried to do a song over at the co-op, Luthier's Co-op in East Hampton, and it was a brand new song, and I mean, I fudged it up, something fierce. And I watched the video, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I can't even. But to the point where it really bothered me. And then 2 nights later, I went to another open mic to play, and upon walking in the door, this guy I had never met before, like, greeted me and shook my hand. Oh my God, he's like, you know, I saw your performance over there, you've got a great voice, I love that song. And I was looking at him like, wow, man, that was like the worst shit. I was thinking about quitting, you know. He's like, oh, no, man, once you get that worked out, it's going to be great. So, you know, I guess it's good to do that. And most of my stuff gets put on YouTube. That's another thing I want to say right now. As far as performances, that's something I've learned. And videos. You know, you don't really need an expensive video. You don't really need to go spend a whole lot of money and throw up a huge video and, you know, go and spend, you know, $1,000 to make this killer CD under some independent label.